Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Looking for Love. I am your host, Trey Kearney, and this is my co host.
Lamar Hall.
And we are here Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network YouTube channel. Please go subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Lamar, how has your week been? Please tell me everything that's been going on.
Amazing week. I'm loading for birthday weekend. I'll be 52 on Monday.
Woo! Happy birthday. You a baby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Break it down. Happy birthday. Yes, I'll get into it. But happy birthday, Lamar.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy your birthday weekend. Don't do nothing we wouldn't do, but do everything we would do. So tonight we are going to talk all about Generation X. Oh, you guys know that we are Generation X. We cater to a Generation X crowd. I'm a Generation X woman. Lamar's a Generation X man. And we try to bridge the gap between Generation X men and women and see what the miss is between our generation, because Generation X men are going to younger women and Generation X women are now going to young or older men. So we're trying to skip each other for some strange reason, but me and Lamar are here to figure it out. From questions from our guests, we answer some questions, and then we just talk. We just really talk about Generation X. And the rule around here is, for women who are listening, it is your job when Lamar is talking for the men to take notes and listen, not to argue with him, not to debate, but to take notes, listen to the comments, right? Collect the data, see if the brothers agree with him, and just learn. And for the men, when I'm speaking for the women, your job is to listen and learn, not to debate and argue with me or say why we passport brothers and all of that other stuff. It is just to listen and learn. So tonight we have a special guest in the building. We are about to really do some things tonight, and it's going to be good. So we're going to put our guest in, Miss Anita from Better Love Movement. She is a love mentor, LPC relationship coach, and she has a lot to say. So we're going to bring her up to the stage. Hey, Miss Anita.
Hey. Hello, how are you all? I apologize for running a few minutes late. I just got out of a couple session. So.
It is okay. It is okay. We was rocking and rolling. We knew you was coming.
Okay. Yeah.
So please introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know who you are, what you do, and what you want them to know.
So I am a licensed professional counselor by trade. That's my full-time gig. I have a practice here in Richmond, Virginia. And then I am also a content creator, a UGC creator on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, and I'm very, very passionate about pursuing authentic love. That's something that I've been pushing for a very long time, and helping women. So my platform is predominantly for women, even though I have 60% male followers. But it's predominantly for women, teaching them how to reconnect and reclaim their femininity, and have better relationships with men, but regardless of their age. But sure, Gen Z, Gen X, what are we? Gen X, sure, that'd be great.
So welcome. So we're going to answer some of our viewers' questions first, and then we're going to get into our topic for tonight, because our viewers are they want their questions answered, and they be like, you ain't answer my question. You ain't answer my question. So they be like, hurry up and answer that question so you can get to the next question. So I'm going to go to our first question. And it is storming here, people, in New Jersey. Like, it's storming bad where I am right now. Like, my windows are shaking. So if we lose y'all, we sorry. And we'll come back next week. But we're going to ask the Lord to hold us down for the night. So let's go to our first question. Let's see. A woman reached out to me and says she's having an affair with my fiance. We are scheduled to get married in September. She said as a woman, she felt obligated to tell me the truth before I married him. She says she wants to remain anonymous and her intention is not to hurt me, but the guilt was eating her up. She knew some things about him, which is strange. We talked and he assured me he is not cheating with anyone right now. Who do I believe, and should I move forward with the wedding? Miss Anita, since you're the guest, we'll let you go first.
Oh, Lord. So the first person she should trust is her gut. That's who she should trust. And her gut is telling her something. That's the first person she should trust. Is she should trust her gut. She should trust her female intuition. She can pray about it. God will reveal all. She can pray about it and he'll reveal it, but she should trust herself. She should trust her gut instinct. And that will tell her everything she needs to know.
Lamar?
In a situation, and from a man's standpoint, if he's not cheating and you don't have a lot of proof, the worst thing you can do is accuse an innocent man of something. So I'm not a firm believer of listening to outside people, but to what Anita's saying, listen to your intuition, but give that man an opportunity to clear his name too, because you just, whoever he is, can't have people affecting your relationship by just being able to speak something into existence.
Ooh, I'm gonna say this. It's one key word that came up for me. He said, we talked and he assured me he is not cheating with anyone right now. And like Anita said and Lamar said, no, seriously, like, I'm going to say this. Like Anita and Lamar said, trust your gut, but why are you even questioning him? If I'm about to marry somebody and somebody came and said, Trey, I'm cheating with your fiance, but I want to remain anonymous, I just felt the need to let you know. If I'm going to marry this man and I trust him with all my heart and all my soul, there would not be a question of who I'm going to believe. So for her to even be questioning the situation makes me feel like there's something more to this, because I'd be like, no, he not cheating with you because he said he ain't cheating with you and I trust my man. But for her to be questioning this whole situation and getting ready to go into a marriage, like, marriage is sacred and you got to have your partner's back. And that's why you have to be on a solid foundation moving forward. So I'm going to say this to her. If there's any doubt in your mind and in your heart that this may be happening, I think you should take some time and postpone the wedding. That's what I'm going to say. Because I would be like, if he said, I'm not cheating, like, I'm not cheating with nobody. I don't know who this person is. And if I couldn't say to myself, I believe you, I'll be like, I'm not getting married because something, I don't believe, like Anita said, something in your gut is making you question him. So I know you're a man in the middle, Lamar.
I just say like this, I've been in that situation where I have cheated and then I haven't cheated, and then you get accused of cheating. I'm like, I'm not cheating. So it's like, it's like, that's the worst thing to do, because that's one thing to push my butt, I'll lose it, if you start accusing me of that. So I'm like,
if you don't trust him 100%, 10 toes down, do not marry him. It got to be 100% trust, or this person has put this seed in your mind already. And if you have not said, he's not cheating because I trust him, you're going into a marriage with a trust issue already. And you probably should reach out to Anita so she could work on immediately before you even step into, no, seriously, because if you don't reach out to her now, you're going to reach out to her after.
Yeah, every time.
And we don't want that for you. So if you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love. I'm here tonight. I'm Trey Kearney. I'm a certified life and relationship coach. I'm here with my co-host, Lamar Hall, who is a businessman, entrepreneur, and our special guest, Miss Anita, who is the guru of love, and she is a love coach. And we had her in the building because one thing she gonna do, she gonna step on your toes.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I need y'all to know. She gonna step on your toes and her toes. And that's what me and Lamar do every week. Not intentional.
Yeah.
Make you. So let's go to our next question, because we want to get to our topic tonight. And these questions, right? My best friend has been cheating on her husband for some time now. He has somehow maybe caught on. He called me to meet with him to plan a surprise birthday party for her. It's in quotes. That's why I'm doing it. Only to get me alone and grill me about her cheating. He's a good dude. I felt like a cheater and a liar lying to him. I told my best friend he's reached out to me several times. She told me to ignore him. Unfortunately, our husbands are very close because of our relationship. Now my husband is questioning me. I can't be lying to my husband. How do I handle this mess? I'll go first. Don't lie to your husband. Don't lie to your husband.
Don't damage your household trying to protect somebody else's.
Come on, Lamar. Because
hey, I'm not no snitch, but I'm just gonna be like, hey, we not in that party no more.
Because your husband is, first of all, y'all brought these two men together. And they have formed a bond. And now your husband got to lie to him. And I don't listen. I'm in this season of my life, and this happened to me. This is a real story. When I was cheating on my husband. So everybody that knows I got here my platform by way of committing adultery, and our family just got destroyed. So I went on a mission of helping other families. And my best friend, my very best friend, we were friends since I was 10 and she was 11. She, after a while, she cut me off. She was like, yo, I'm not going to be your alibi, your talibi. I'm not pretending like you was with me no more. First of all, you got a good husband. But when you in that fog, you be like, mind your business. So she just, we didn't talk for years. For years. I'm talking, and this is my ride, a road dog chick, but she wasn't with the messiness, her integrity, her morals, and her values. So I would say to this woman, don't bring that, excuse my language, that shit to your door. Like she wiping her feet on your mat. You got to tell her, listen, you causing problems in my home with me and my husband. And now he questioning me. And my mother used to say, I don't know about y'all mothers, but my mother used to say birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
So if you ain't checking her, you condoning her behavior. Because I'd be like, at this point, now that it's affecting my marriage, I'm not saying we're not friends right now, but until you get your situation straight, yes, Lamar, till you, Miss Anita.
No, I agree. I, am a person of integrity. And, I have a couple of friends here who they don't see it as a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. Like I will not be made to look bad by your bad behavior. So I would check her first. And if that didn't work, I would cut both of them clean off. So because you're not going to make me look bad. You're not going to make my husband think I'm cheating too. Like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yes. She messy. Lamar?
Yeah.
Okay, same. I agree. Don't mess up your household because you're trying to defend a friend. So it's not, like I said, talk to her, let her know. So listen, I'm not with it. And then let her make the decision if she's gonna, either y'all not gonna be friends or she's gonna cut the behavior out.
Right. Well, what happened with me and my best friend, it was a season of separation until I got myself together. Then when my mom got sick, she showed up. That's my best friend. She showed up when she heard my mother was dying. Like she was at the hospital, like, I don't care what's going on or who you with. But it had been years. But she was like, I don't even care. I got the news. I'm here. But she clean cut me off, Miss Anita. Clean. Straight cut me off. I was like, oh, that's what we doing. And I was wrong, but I was in my feelings. Like, oh, you don't care about how I feel. I want to be happy. And she was just like, yo, like you can't even see yourself right now. So I love people in my life that's willing to risk losing me for a season of separation to save me from my own foolishness. She's like, we ain't Thelma and Louise on this one. We not going on the trip together.
A real good friend.
Oh yeah, she's a good friend. But let me tell you this though. Let me just tell you what a good friend she is. Ain't nobody told nobody nothing. She ain't told on me. She ain't rat me out. She just separated herself from. She ain't go tell my ex-husband, yeah, she did this, did that. She just was like, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. So sis, I would encourage you to separate yourself for a season until she get her whole entire life together before she ruins your marriage, because that's how easy mess could trickle down in your house.
Yep.
So if you just tuned in, you're tuned in to Looking for Love. We're here with our special guest, Anita. And she is going to share some stuff. She is from Better Love Movement. If you want to follow her on Instagram, it's at Better Love Movement. She has some great content for relationships. She probably could save some of your marriages or get you out of some situationships, because some of y'all in situationships and y'all don't want to hear the truth. So we're going to do one more question and then we're going to get to our topic. Oh, I found several homemade porn videos of a woman in my husband's phone. I asked him who this woman is and why is this in his phone. He said he doesn't know her and they were accidentally sent to him. They are all text on different dates. Why would somebody accidentally keep texting the wrong person? He keeps denying that he knows this woman. Should I be suspicious or let it go? Girl, you already answered yourself. I'm sorry. What? Lamar?
So, okay, so he's getting random text messages from multiple numbers, but it's the same woman in the video?
Number.
Oh, it's the same number.
With multiple porn.
Oh, different women.
Different videos of the same woman. But he's saying he don't know her. And she says she sent it by mistake. This person sent it by mistake, but it's different videos from different days. He know her.
Yeah, he do.
Right.
But is a one okay? Let's just say it's assuming there's a woman on the other side. Is she sending the videos to try to get him in trouble? Is that what we're trying to determine? Or
she wants to know, should she be suspicious that she looked in her husband's phone and she found several porn videos from a specific woman. And when she asked him about it, he said, I don't know the woman. She sent it by mistake. But it's different videos of this woman, different text messages. So the person is sending these text messages to him intentionally. Right? I'm sorry. Like, ain't nobody, if I make a mistake, Lamar, and send you a picture of me, and you say, I'm sorry, you got the wrong person.
I block you.
Right. And I would never send you. I'd be like, oh God, I sent the porn of myself to the wrong person. Jesus, can you delete that from your phone? Yeah. Miss Anita, what do you think? Should she be suspicious or should she let it go?
No, she should be suspicious. And again, ladies, it's all about developing a standard. Like I have a standard. I have a standard for the behavior that I'm going to accept and allow. And then I have a standard for what I'm not going to allow. So on top of the fact that you receive these videos, I am of the assumption that you're not being honest. Like that's the biggest thing that is alarming of all. You're not being honest. And it doesn't feel good to be in a relationship with a man who is not honest. So there's several things to address. I would address the videos, but I would also address the dishonesty. So yeah, she needs to be very direct. Just be direct with them and say, yeah, I don't appreciate you being dishonest.
Lamar?
That's a tough one, man. Because maybe his past is coming back to get him or something like that. And he's just trying to tiptoe around it. It doesn't sound like he's done anything recently. It just seems like his past is trying to re-emerge itself. So, but it is worth an investigation. I wouldn't blow up the whole situation, get all the information before you react emotionally, but something is going wrong. So you just need to really figure out what's really going on.
And like Anita said, just be honest and say, listen, the woman is sent me the porn. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That leads into another question, though. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. The moment he agrees, the moment he agrees to that, he's toast. He's done. So,
but he's toast now.
He's not toast now. No, he's not. He's not toast yet. She hasn't really proved it yet. She hasn't proved anything yet. If he accepts and goes, yeah, I know her. Oh, then she's running with this whole narrative. So,
Anita,
it's not fair. Now, I don't know his history. If he's cheated before, whatever the case may be, we are guilty until proven innocent. So,
and understand that the way men are designed, I always tell women this, it is in a man's DNA to deny. He's never going to admit that that's how men are wired.
But you know why?
It's in his DNA.
We have learned throughout history that women don't really want the truth.
Right.
They really don't. So we tell little white lies, and little white lies, they snowball and they become boulders because we start lying about little things, and little things turn into big things. So,
well, wait a minute. Some of us want the truth. Now, don't put me in the box with the women that don't want the truth.
Again, my statement is a general statement. Most women don't want the truth. So it takes a mature woman that has done some work on herself to understand and be able to sit down and talk about it. Most women you have to lie to them.
Oh.
I lied for 25 years.
So I mean,
because she never created an environment that I felt safe. But I dated women after that, and that was part of our topic. It was like, don't lie to me. And I was like, okay. So I started testing it. I had nothing to lose. I was just getting to know him. And once I started telling the truth, I'm going like, what am I scared of? Like, she can't beat me up. Like, I can tell you the truth. Like, but that's just how we are. Just especially when you get married, you're just like, you just shut up. You don't say things.
Wow. But so relationships, we was gonna say relationships are just, we could just expect men to be liars.
You can expect, the longer you're with a man, you can expect him to fabricate. He's not, listen, I have been accused of not lying, but I don't give you the whole truth. So it's like, okay. And then I've had situations where I've given the truth, and it's like, you can't handle either one of them. So it's like, it's a no-win situation, and it's a case-by-case thing. So in the beginning, it's something you should really talk about in your relationship and say, hey, are we going to be really truthful to the point where it's going to hurt our feelings at times, but we have to be able to create this groundwork and say, no matter what, we got to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm. Anita, you were going to say something?
I mean, there should be a culture of radical honesty. Now, I want you to keep in mind that a person, and I won't even just say it's men, I would say people. Sometimes people lie to keep something going, to fulfill a need or to keep something going. So for instance, if a man is not looking for a relationship and he approaches a woman who is, and she makes that very clear, I'm looking for a relationship, I'm not interested in casual sex, I'm not interested in casual dating. Yes, men may lie because they want access to that woman. They may lie to keep a good thing going. Maybe they've been dating the woman for a year, she wants to get married and he doesn't, and they will lie because it's beneficial to them to lie. But I think that's a people thing. I think people are like that. They're going to lie, to kind of continue having the thing they want or getting the thing they need.
Woo-wee. Come on. That was like a Hallmark card. Listen, I hope y'all listen, if you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love. We're here every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network YouTube channel. Tonight we have a special guest in the building, Miss Anita from Better Love Movement, and we are talking all about Generation X, couples, marriages, love, what we need, how to bridge the gap. And right now we're talking about just simply telling the truth, which we just established for everybody is really a hard thing to do. But why do we think it's a hard thing to do, Lamar?
From my standpoint, and the women, and again, I have no secret. I knew nothing about women until I was 45 years old, and I started dating. And so for 8 years, I got out and dated, and I dated a lot of women. I talked to them. It didn't necessarily mean it was sex or anything like that, but I just had conversations with women, and most women do not want to hear the truth. They want to hear their truth. So I've learned it's a case by case thing, but I've used that as one of my starters, that in the first 48 hours that I meet you, we're going to have some truth. And if you can't handle that in 48 hours, that's a red flag. And then I just move on.
Ooh, not the first 48.
I know. I have a big thing. I was dating somebody, and I said, listen, we're going to go to dinner. And we went to dinner. We laid it all out, and I just told her what I am, what I do, what I'm about. And she was like, okay. And it was cool. It wasn't a bad thing. It was actually really good. It actually helped us, with the relationship, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Mm. Okay.
And it should. We were talking about that today on the live, that more of us need to be vulnerable. We need to be authentic, right? We need to stop wearing masks. We need to stop being what the other person wants us to be. And in my book, that's the fastest way to actually find your person. Like, I show up, I'm authentic. And if you like this, then we're a good fit. If you don't like this, that's okay. That's giving us information that we need. So I want to see more people do that. Like, flip over, not all of your cards, but flip over a good amount of your cards, and hopefully they'll do the same. And then see what you got.
Yeah, because you take away people's options when you lie.
Right.
Because when I find out, I'm gonna cut you off. Like, if I find out something that you knew if you told me this, right? This is where I'm at. And we're Generation X, so we're an older crowd. This is where I think that most people should be at our age, but unfortunately we're not. We should sit down and tell each other things that we know would disrupt the relationship, right? So I don't have a problem if a person asks me or we're talking and I'm saying to them, why did your last relationship end? I'm going to tell them my marriage ended, because marriage comes up, and I will tell them my marriage ended because I committed adultery. I cheated. So that might be a deal breaker for a man to say, once a cheater, always a cheater. So if that's your mindset, you're going to find out down the line that the reason why my marriage ended was because I cheated. So I don't want us to get to know each other for 6 months and be all lovey-dovey and fall in love. And then you say, you cheated on your husband? Oh no, if I'd have known that, I would never be with a woman that's a cheater, but I'm not a cheater. But some people's philosophy is, once a cheater, always a cheater. So
I mean, that's the same thing that happened. That's why I'm saying within the first 48 hours, I am honest about that. I said, listen, I was married for 22 years. I cheated probably 15 out of those 22 years.
Woo.
I said, but I've dated 3 other women since then in the last 8 years. Didn't cheat on any of them. So I only cheated on you because you didn't do what I asked you to do. So now I'm a better version of myself, and I'm able to tell somebody what I need. And they get it. They understand it. And I don't have that problem anymore.
So you said, and this just hit, and we can all answer this, but you say you cheated and you told her, I cheated because I didn't get what I needed. So when you don't get what you need, then you cheated. But if you don't get what you need now, what do? Now that you've done work on yourself?
I communicated.
Okay.
It's a communication first, and then I give you the option to correct the behavior. If you don't correct the behavior, then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to walk away.
Okay.
There's no cheating anymore. There is, I just walk away.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that. Like sometimes, people will say, well, he just said the reason why he cheated because he didn't get what he needed. And this is the conversation I will have with you to understand that, well, you just said if you didn't get what you need, you would cheat. So I don't want to be with you because I know I'm not going to be 100% all the time in a relationship. I know it might be some seasons where you're not getting what you don't need. And I don't expect you to go out and get your needs met from somebody else. But I do understand that there are men, and we're going to get into these sexless marriages right now. We might transition to that. But there are men who are in sexless marriages who are not getting what they need, who are deciding to cheat, because cheating is a symptom of a bigger problem, of a need not being met. So we just have to make sure that we're mindful of it's okay to walk away, right? So I want to read, I'm going to read a comment from a man. He said, what about, because I put a video up and I talked about sexless marriages, and we're going to talk about how long should you stay in marriage at that sexless, and is it okay to leave a marriage that's sexless? But he said, what about 12 years in a sexless marriage? What do I do with this?
At this point, you have nothing to lose. You need to be honest. You need to sit down and be like, listen, this is what I need. And if you can't meet this, then we need to dissolve this. But he needs to make sure that listen, divorce is the last option for me. So you need to sit down, be honest. You got nothing to lose. Give her time to correct the behavior and then move forward, because you're going to sit by yourself. And if you dissolve a marriage, you have to be able to go, I gave my all. If you don't feel like you quit and you took the first easy train out, it's going to be hard for you to heal. So you have nothing to lose at this point now. Be honest. And now everything leads up to a point where you're going to have to be honest at some point in time in your life. And now he's there now.
Yep.
Miss Anita?
So I see this a lot in my practice.
12 years?
Yeah, 15 years. And one of the things I think that people appreciate about me and my style is I'm very direct. And I've always been that way. People say, well, maybe it's because you're older. I've always been that way. I've always felt like, why are we going around the barn over and over? Why are we dancing around the bush? Like, let's just go in. Let's be direct with each other. Let's figure out, what's going on, what your needs are. But I'm direct. I want to understand what's going on both sides of the fence. I will be honest. So I believe cheating is a character flaw. And I've always said that. Cheating is a character flaw in the person who is cheating. And that basically means that they don't have the integrity or the courage to be honest. They don't have the courage, they don't have the integrity to just be honest and say, hey, I have needs that aren't being met. I feel lonely. I feel horny, or whatever that is. They don't have the courage within them. They don't have the integrity within them, because I believe that there's only two solutions. You fix it or you leave it. And it's going to take courage to do both. Like whether you fix it or whether you leave it, it's going to take courage. And some people don't. Some people are filled with fear. Some people are worried about their children or what people will think. And so, we got to work on strengthening our character. We have to see infidelity or cheating as, not an option, right? It's not an option. I'm either going to fix this or I'm going to leave this. And either way it goes, it's going to take courage to do that. But if we take it off the table, like that's just not an option. I'm not going to, be unfaithful to my spouse. I have to have the courage to say, I'm lonely, I'm horny, or whatever it is I need. If I don't feel heard, if that person doesn't respond in a way that is like, okay, I'm going to actually work on this, or maybe here's what I need something too. Okay, let's talk about it, because, we both have needs that need to be met. I would get a professional involved. And then if after that, I didn't see any change, I would make plans to leave. I would separate. So that would be the first thing I would do. I would separate, because it's probably going to be 6 months to a year under the law. And that would either scare that person straight. Okay? That's what I love about separation. I have couples right now that are in a separation that I actually started. I was like, you need to separate. You need to separate. You need to wake this person up that you're not playing. And that's exactly what they did. They separated. They're living separate and apart. And the other spouse is like, I got to do something different. And that's their opportunity, whether it's 6 months or a year, depending on the state you're in. Yes, you need to do something different, because this is where this is headed. So even that's a good opportunity to give that person a chance to come around.
And I couldn't get my ex-wife to go to therapy, so we never even got to the option to even separate. So it was just, she didn't, the therapist didn't agree with her, and that's when it all went south. She was just like, nah. She was just like, you're not listening, and we walked out of that session. She's like, we're not coming back here.
Wow. I believe that, I just really believe that the men that I've coached, the men that I've talked to, men that I've interviewed, have done all of the things. They have dotted the I's and crossed the T's. And that society, this is just what I believe. I believe that no matter how much character and integrity they have, they are always the loser. When they decide to leave, you're no good. You left your family. You are no good. If you cheat, you're no good, because but a need's not being met. So I just believe that sometimes, a lot of times, men are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And today I saw a video with Tiana Taylor and what's her husband's name? And he got
Iman Shumpert, and everybody's praising how she's getting
wiped out. This is why men are cheating, and I'm never ever condoning cheating, but I understand why a man would stay in the house and say, "Hey," and I'm going to look at Will Smith. If you look at Will Smith's catalog and the amount I didn't know how much money that man had, because Will laid back, cut in the cut. If you look at Will's movie and how much money them movies gross. Then you say, no wonder he's staying with Jada, letting her have situationships and all of that, because men are stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I'm not saying that it's not a character flaw, but I'm saying sometimes for me, it's not a character flaw. If I leave this place, you're going to take my house, my car, my shoes. You're going to leave me in a cardboard box, and then you're not going to let me see my kids. You're going to fight to have full custody. But I'm supposed to stay in this sexless marriage because you decided, and this is Generation X women, because you decided that you don't ever want to have sex no more. And I got to be penalized whether I stay or whether I leave. I'm going to leave, you're going to take half. And so when I tell the judge, the reason why I'm leaving because you won't have sex with me no more, the judge is not going to consider that as a problem. That's like, oh, well. So, right.
The system's not set up for men. It's just not. And I think through social media, men are starting to be challenged to be better. There's only a certain percentage of men that can truly do and command certain things in a relationship. So most men, it's a partnership or it's lesser. And those are the guys that are losing. The guys that are waking up are the guys that have done work on themselves. They're high earners and things of that nature. Those men they're going like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm smarter. And they're going into situations where they can control it a lot better than what they probably have done in the past. That's the case for me. When I was under 45 years old, I was not in charge of my marriage. You know, she made more money. She never belittled me, but it was always that insinuation that this is because of me or something like that. But when I got out of school and started making more money than her, that's when the challenging started, because I started to go, it ain't just you no more. And we gotta work at this. And she didn't really like it. So I was like, and then I stayed because my daughter, when she went to college, I was like, hey, it's gonna be honeymoon time. We're gonna start over. It never happened. So I felt like my hand got dealt. It was like I tried, I waited, I did when I cheated, she never had an inkling on that. She didn't know. She didn't when she found out that I was cheating, because I let her. I actually laid the breadcrumbs down for her. I was like, yo, she's gonna leave, and this is how it's gonna happen. She didn't leave. So I had to still sit down with her and go, damn, I don't. She's like, tell me in my face you don't want to be with me. I'm like, I don't want to be with you no more. I just don't. So, and then we just got to that point, and I was frustrated. But I had already started falling in love with somebody else. So it was like, but my narrative, how I got portrayed was, I was the bad guy. She built me up. It took me a while to finish school and everything. And she supported me, and I cheated with a younger woman, and she left. She didn't leave me. I left her.
Wow. And I'm saying that this is why this conversation is so necessary with Generation X men and women, because there is a big miss, right? Generation X women, and I'm Generation X, and I understand we're going through menopause. Life is changing for us. We didn't have babies when we got married. We were carefree, and we didn't have to consider a babysitter, or we could just go swing from the chandelier or sit on the kitchen counter with fruit. Like, things change. So we use a lot of things as an excuse, and we get complacent. And when our men, who are Generation X men at their peak, are saying, I'm not feeling valued, I'm not getting enough, I'm not getting my needs met. And it's not only sexual, because the women gonna come on here and, oh, sex, all men think about sex. No, there are tons, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Anita, because I know that you deal with couples too in your practice. There are men out here having emotional affairs. Mm-hmm. There are men out here getting tied to women emotionally first, more than anything physical. Like, this woman is listening to them. This woman is smiling and cheerleading. And when he comes to work, oh, you smell good. I see you got a new tie. And at home, it has nothing to do with the sex is a problem too, but the emotion. Can you talk a little bit about that, Anita, and how can we even begin to repair these things?
Well, one of the ways that I repair it is I try to reclaim the polarity in the relationship. So I want the man to lead. I want the man to have courage and bravery, and he's got to lead. I want the woman to lean back. I want the woman to follow. I want the woman to submit to his healthy leadership. The man is going to make some mistakes in his leadership, and I want the woman to just let it happen. But we have to reestablish the polarity. We have to reestablish the respect. And a lot of women, I'm just going to be honest, they don't respect the men that they're married to. They don't like them, they don't trust them, they don't respect them, and they don't admire them. Those are the 4 things that must be present at all times in a healthy relationship. You like the person, you respect them, you trust them, and you admire them. And when that goes missing, like one at a time, those things go missing. Women, and I'm just going to be honest, I'll speak to the hypergamous nature. I cannot submit to a man I don't respect. So that's why I often tell men all the time, like, I don't date men I don't respect, because my mouth is going to get reckless. I'm going to do things, that are disrespectful. So I save you and me the trouble. Like, if I don't respect you, if I don't admire you, I don't date you. So I'm seeing it all the time. Just women married to men they don't like, they don't respect, they don't trust, and they don't admire.
No,
And yeah, and what you
nowhere
get
did
is
she say we need love.
yeah,
We don't need love.
right,
It's not about love.
right,
I will never date a woman again that doesn't admire me.
right.
But I have to make myself a man to be admired. And
That's right.
if I do the work and you
Yep.
still don't feel that way, man, I don't tolerate that. I just don't. And you know what? And that's leads into it. That's why I date younger.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
That's why I date younger. Now I dated too young and I've gone up in the age a little bit. It's still younger, but it's not, damn, you dating that? I don't get that anymore. So, but when I did date really younger, it was the admiration. It was the worldly, like, oh, you did so much. Like you can teach me. And a lot of guys go, I know I talk to guys that go, I don't want to be daddy figure. I like being daddy. Shit.
Well, excuse me. Excuse me, daddy.
Hey, I like being daddy. You ain't never got to go in your pocket. I'm going to be daddy.
Woo.
So,
you're going to have people calling in now. Relax. Relax. Hold on. If you just tuned in, you're tuning in Looking for Love. We are here today discussing the mix between Generation X men and women. And those of you who just tuned in, you heard him say he'd like to be daddy. Go somewhere and sit down. I need y'all to calm down and go back and watch the whole conversation before you think Lamar gonna be your daddy. Miss Anita, they done popped in when the man said he wants to be. Hold up. Let's just pause and breathe for a second. So now we're talking about why Generation X marriages, our Generation X marriages on the rise to be sexless and why. And Lamar just said a mouthful about why he dates younger women. So how do we turn this thing around? One, because we're solution based. So we want to give some points and some tips for people who are in marriages right now that are sexless, right? Like just give one tip, Miss Anita, of what's one thing that we can do if the marriage has gotten to that point of complacency and we're just here? We're roommates now.
Right. We want to try to restore the polarity. That's the fastest way to do it. We have to restore the polarity between the man and the woman. And that looks like the woman, laying back on her more feminine side and the man stepping up into his more masculine side. Just try to restore the polarity. I would say start with just being physically affectionate because it is very odd. I had an older couple, I want to say they were like 60, and it is going to be very odd to go from never touching each other for years to now having sex with each other. So what I suggested that they do was just be more physically affectionate, to hug every day. They had to have a 6-second hug, a 6-second kiss. They had to hold hands when they were sitting on the couch, just to get more comfortable touching each other. Because you'd be surprised at how many couples go months without even touching each other. And so just trying to restore some physical affection. And again, trying to get those 4 things going. Do you trust me? Do you admire me? Do you respect me? Do you like me? And so I would try to rebuild a friendship, like try to get the friendship going again. And slowly but surely, and if there were physical issues, I would address physical issues on the man's side. I address physical issues on the woman's side.
And Lamar, what do men need from women to get that back? Or what is your, let me say it this way. Why is it hard for you or for men in sexless marriages if you've said, listen, I need sex? Where does that go and how can we fix that for you as women when you say this is not going the way it should and I feel like a roommate? What do you feel when you've said that or when you hear other brothers talk about that?
No woman ever views it like that. They never look at themselves like they are doing less than. So you can go, hey, we're not having enough sex. They're always going to take it like, oh, you're being dramatic. That's what I was accused of. You think you're supposed to have it every day. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't think that. But one time a week just isn't going to get it. And I know that I have an above average sex drive. So it was like, keeping a wild tiger in a cage that was too small. And I'm like, I'm about to lose my damn mind at times. And there was no conversation that we could have where she had an epiphany and was like, you know what, we're going to do it your way. Okay, I'm going to listen to you, because what Anita's saying, she didn't respect me at that time because I hadn't achieved anything in my life. So it was like, I'm under the age of 32. I don't have a degree. I don't make enough money. So yes, it wasn't there. But her and I sat down and talked after we got divorced, and it was after I did the work on myself, after I became successful, after I made more money than you, why didn't it? And she just looked at me and she said, I tried. So in that scenario, it was like, she was never going to take accountability. And that's been my number one thing when me being out here dating is most women live in a false world, and accountability is not in that world.
So is there a time, and I think it's a time where there has to be a renegotiation of the marriage contract, right? Because a lot of times we get married. I got married when I was 21, but a lot of times we get married and we don't lay down the law of these are my non-negotiables, right? And for men, I just need men to be able to say, these are my non-negotiables. You can't put your hands on me. You can't be addicted to anything. You can't cheat on me, and you got to love the Lord. And this marriage cannot go into roommate phase. And this is me learning now that I need to tell a man that we can't go into roommate phase where we're not being intimate with each other. So I need you to know now that that's a deal breaker, even if we're married, because people go into marriages now with this thought in their head, and especially Christian women. I got to say this, and this is no disrespect to Christian women, but y'all be over the top. And I'm a Christian myself. I love the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, but I'm a realist. I understand that I don't have the right to withhold sex from a man. I don't have the right to disrespect a man and then put my vows and God in it to say, you took vows in front of God and now you want to leave this marriage, but you are disrespectful. You are withholding sex from me, and now you're holding the marriage vows and God over my head. And I told you at the beginning of this marriage that if you put your hands on me, if you cheated on me, if you're addicted to anything, and now if it was sexless, that I was leaving. So I think we just need to put things up front now in marriages. And now that we've been in a marriage for maybe 20 years, 22 years, 25, because we didn't know what we didn't know, we need to renegotiate this thing. We need to sit down right now and we need to tell what our non-negotiables is moving forward from this 25-year marriage into the future. What does the non-negotiables look like right now for you? And if we move forward and these things happen or these things don't happen, I have the right to walk away. So what do you guys think? Is it ever time to renegotiate the relationship?
Yeah, the relationship contract gets renegotiated often. That's actually what couples don't realize, because we believe that the person we married, whether it was 5 years ago, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that person is not the same person. Our needs are not the same needs. Our wants are not the same wants. So really every year you should be coming together, coming to the table and doing a renegotiation of the relationship contract. Are your needs getting met? My needs aren't getting met. That should be happening every year. What's different about you? What do you need now that you didn't need before? So most definitely, we definitely need to do that probably annually.
Woo! Yes.
And that sounds like grown people, but that is I guess a desire. I don't know if that's reality to be able to be that grown, because I'm as you guys were talking, I'm going like, could I be that grown? Could I do that? I don't know if I'm there yet, to identify it. So I think when you're unhappy, I think you owe it to sit down and let your partner know that something is going on. And before it festers and turns into something worse, the sooner you address it, the better you can move forward. So.
That's good. Yeah. I'm going to read a comment from another man who was on that post about sexless marriages. He says, when my wife hit menopause, she stopped having sex entirely. I spoke to her about how this was impacting me and asked her if it was reasonable for me to have sex outside the marriage if I promised to remain with her. She said no, and I respected that. but it sent a powerful message to her, and she immediately sought HRT. Within a month, her libido had returned, and we are now all good again. She just didn't realize how important sex was to me. Most women don't understand it until their man has stepped out on them. Woo!
So kudos to him, because he's a grown man. So he actually was like, he sat down and was like, listen, I love you and I really don't want to go nowhere. Either you're going to permit me to go do this or you're going to fix it. So hey, kudos to that brother right there. Because and good for her that she responded in a positive way, because it could have went the wrong way. Because I tried to do the same thing. Hey, go to a sex therapist and this and that. And the therapist gave her some good ideas. She didn't put them in play. So it never changed the behavior. So people have to be grown. I mean, they just have to. And to be able to sit down and talk and go, I respect you. I identify it. I'm going to correct that behavior. That's love to me. That's true love. In any essence, is that you can be honest, take it in and go, you know what? I trust you. I'm going to correct that behavior. So that's a good couple. I like that.
Yeah.
Miss Anita.
But emotional maturity, that is actually the number one reason why relationships are in the trouble that they're in, is people are emotionally immature. We are experiencing what I like to call an extended adolescence. And it is this idea that men and women do not ever want to grow up. They do not ever want to do the hard thing. They do not ever want to become self-aware or reflect. That's, in my opinion, the number one reason is the emotional immaturity of folks. People are traumatized. People are wounded. People have, all kinds of problems for all kinds of reasons. And they're not doing enough work on themselves and being transparent about that work. So yeah, that's what emotional maturity looks like. The man communicates, the woman listens, and she actually applies what he says.
I like that.
Most people can't do that.
I like that, Anita. Emotional maturity.
I like
that's
that.
It.
I like that.
That's it. I said in a reel the other day, I said, and people were laughing. They were like, "Oh my God, you're hilarious." I said, "Yeah, I don't understand. You all are so proud to be petty." Like, I take great pride in being the bigger person. I'm the bigger person 98% of the time. And they're like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. You all take pride in being petty. I don't think I don't see any pride in that.
Petty requires too much energy.
It does.
Unfortunately, I'm living in a season of I'll cut you off. So I saw a quote on Instagram. It's like, if you knew how hard I had worked to get to this space of my life and my peace, you wouldn't challenge me. And I've had a relationship that dissolved 2 years ago. Same thing. It was like, you're putting me in a position that I have to make a decision that's not going to be in your favor. So why are you doing this? And she stood on what she stood on. Like, I wasn't going to make that decision. I was like, okay, here we go. So, and now she's standing there with her mouth up like, oh, I'm like, you left me no choice. I have to protect me. I have to. And I tell every woman I've ever dealt with, imagine 12-year-old Lamar. I didn't come from anything. I grew up with nothing. Single mom. I can say that I graduated from college. I became something. I'm not going to take less. I'm just not. And I was with someone that I dreamed of everything: cars, money, clothes, house, whatever you could think. It was all material. And I walked away from it all for my peace. So I'm not going to let anybody or anything destroy or come in and play with that. I'm just not. I stand on it, and I will cut you. I tell it, my daughter, who I love more than anything in this world, from her on, so everybody can get it. I'm not playing with it. So it's like, you just got to grow as a man. And I think a man, I can remember being 40, in my mid 40s, being like 42, and I didn't think anyway how I think now. So I don't think men really start maturing mentally until like 42, and they start thinking different and start challenging themselves. And it's like, is this it? Because every man goes through it, and about 40 to 45, they look at their life and go, is this it? Is this what my life is supposed to be? And some men go, it's cool. And some men go, nah, this ain't cool. And that's when changes make.
Ladies, that was a nugget. I have to tell a lady that was, if you did not pick that nugget up, then something's wrong with you. Like, you gotta listen to the brothers when the brothers are speaking, that a lot of men don't really have the realization of life until 40. And we have to understand that and not knock them for it, right? But we have to encourage men, if we're going to deal with a younger man, we have to encourage our men, even the 40, even Generation X, that there's better out there for you. We have to encourage them and not knock them down. We're expecting men to hold us up and build us up while we're tearing them down. Like, you don't have this and you're not doing that. And what's wrong with you? Instead of saying, hey, babe, we're getting a little old now. Like, what's the plan? How can I help you plan? Like, I don't know everything either, but I know that we're not going in the right direction as a unit. Instead of having that communication, we tend to point fingers instead of looking internally. I'm a person now, and I'm so glad that we're all sitting here as Generation X men and women who have done the work and still are doing the work. We have not arrived, people, before y'all saying, well, y'all think y'all this and that. No, we don't. We have not arrived. We are, how they say, woke, but this is a different woke than what they talking about in the world.
Yeah, not bad.
Peace, right? We have decided that peace is our portion based on how we act. And if other people around us, at the external people who we allow in our space, don't act accordingly. And this is not judging that you left the toothpaste off the cap. We talking about toxicity. Right. When you are no longer toxic, you are the toxicity. So people come to me and they be like, oh, Trey, I'm in a toxic relationship. And I look at them and I simply say to them, if you're in a toxic relationship, you're toxic too.
Exactly.
Because he'll walk away. We don't say toxic for friendships. Like, I'm gonna see you at the family reunion, the cookout. I'm gonna see you when we have our high school reunion, our class reunion, because the way you moving, I don't move like that. So we got 2 more minutes, and I just want to do some final thoughts with us. We got so much more. This is so good, right? We got so much more to talk about. But, and I just wanted to talk about this too really quickly. Y'all could chime in. We can go a little over if that's okay with y'all. But there's so many women out here who have given up on themselves, right? And they have this mentality that a man is supposed to love them unconditionally, right? Unconditional love. And I have to say this, and I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, but there's a difference between unconditional love and unconditional attraction. So, and I'm not just talking about physical attraction. I'm talking about your attitude, your mentality. You want this woman, this man to stay with you, or this woman, but we're talking about men right now. You want this man to stay with you who no longer, like Anita said, who no longer likes you. I love everybody because the Lord tells me to love your neighbor and love your enemy. I love everybody. Some of y'all I don't like. And when I don't like you, I don't want to be around you. So I just need women to understand when they start talking about this unconditional love thing, you are disrespectful to this man. And you think that he's supposed to stay around because unconditional love. You're fat. And excuse me, because I know y'all all sensitive and right now, but you're unhealthy. And you have a man sitting next to you that works out. You have a man sitting next to you that fell in love with a size 8. And I'm not saying at 45 or 50, I'm a size 8. Well, I am. But I was a size 4, when I was 21. I was a size 6. But I keep myself because I know there's a difference between unconditional love and unconditional attraction.
Men are not expecting you to be the size that we met you. What we are expecting is that you're going to fight the good fight and go into the gym with us. And I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of people of color. And there's always going to be more men. And there's never, and I mean hardly, any women of color in there. And that's a narrative that we got to change. It's like to get so hooked on these surgeries and all this quick fix. Listen, it's so much that comes out of being physical. It's like we're not talking about how you look. We're talking about functionality. And as we get older, and this is something that I am starting to do now, I'm not lifting weights to lift weights. I'm lifting weights so I don't fall over. I'm lifting weights so I can strengthen up my legs. So that's going to be a concern for a lot of people on the backside of this. So they're not even thinking about that. You're thinking about, do I look good in this dress? Am I going to look good at the pool? Man, wait till you have to go up the steps and you don't have the leg strength.
Miss Anita?
Okay, you have a comment from Misha Williams that says, I have a male boyfriend and he doesn't want to marry. I don't either. We are in a sexless relationship, but we love each other and love God. So you have a roommate, you have a friend that you live with.
True.
That's what you're saying, Misha. You do not have a man, you have a roommate. You have a friend. I have a male friend. I have a very good male friend, and we've been good friends for quite some time. But understand this, sex is what makes relationships intimate.
Oh.
Anything else is called your friend.
Oh, wait a minute. I need you to repeat that one more time. Just
say that again.
In the back.
Okay? That's your friend. You and your friend live together and you love each other and love God, but that's not your boyfriend. You are not in an intimate relationship because sex is what makes the relationship intimate, and not intimate emotionally, but intimate as in, as the Bible say, you know each other, you know of each other, right? That's the Bible is saying, consummating. Okay. So you have a good friend, you have a good friend that you live with and you all love each other, and that's wonderful. But that relationship is not, intimate because there's no sex. And that's okay. Like, that's okay. If you all are both okay with it, I don't see any problem with it. Like, if he's okay with it and you're okay with it.
Ooh, come on, that was so good. I want to eat a Ritz cracker.
Okay, so just check with him. Is he okay with it? Like,
that's that right there.
You're writing this comment, Misha, and you really need to check with him. Is he okay with it?
That part right there. So I just want to read a comment. Let me see if I have one from a woman, because the tone is so different. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Well, this is from a guy too. Hold on. I got so many screens.
Yeah, vocal men are starting to get, through social media, they're starting to get the courage and starting to understand that they have a voice now.
Yeah. So this is a comment from a woman, and I just want to read this. Marriage vows include, right? Because they take it there with me, and it just makes me. Marriage vows include for better or worse. I'm not going to assume my husband will step out on me. I'm going to assume he's a man of character, integrity, and a man of his word. What he decides to do is what he decides to do. I'd like to think he would want me for more things other than sex. He'd like to think that I wouldn't step out on him when he starts experiencing erectile dysfunction. Friends wouldn't do that to each other. It's 2024. Please decenter men from conversations about menopause. What a terrible way to open a video. But you are right. Cheating is a symptom of a bigger problem, like low self-esteem, hypersexualization, lack of character, unhealed trauma, patriarchy, etc. Now, the problem that I have with this comment is she thought nothing about accountability of me saying that menopause is not an excuse to not have sex with your husband. She took no accountability. She went straight for what she wanted. Decenter men. No, men need sex. I didn't center a man. I'm telling you, the reality of the situation is men need sex. There's no way, shape, or form that's me centering the conversation of menopause around men. I'm telling you that men need sex, and y'all want to go for the better or worse in sickness and in health. But if that brother, and me and Miss Anita talked about this, two things. If that brother came home and said, I'm not going to pay the bills anymore, you'd say, that's a deal breaker. Yes, you are, or you're going to get out. But you saying, I'm not going to have sex with you anymore. Because men thrive on physical, that's the way they connect and feel love. And women thrive on being taken care of, the bills being paid, being provided and protected. But if he came home and said, I'm not paying the bills no more, you pay them. And you'd be like, oh, you getting out because we're not. But you're saying, I'm not going to give you the thing that you need, that you thrive on in this relationship, and I expect you to stay. And Miss Anita, you said it another way. You said women thrive on talking. And if your man stopped talking to you, period.
For 12 years, he never said a word.
I remember at the end, I wasn't saying much either. I'm gathering my thoughts. I'm gonna get the hell up out of here.
See?
So this conversation was so rich. We want to thank you, Anita, for being
You're
here.
welcome.
Just
Thank
sharing
you for
your
having me.
No, this was really, really good. We're gonna have you back because this was so good. And we were supposed to have another person on, but he couldn't come. So I mean, God, whatever is meant to be is meant to be. But this was so good and so rich. So we want to thank you for your time, for your experience, for your knowledge, for your wisdom, because it does not go unheard. I really appreciate everything you said. I'm sure Lamar wrote a couple things down, and so have I. So we're going to do our final thoughts. So Miss Anita, since you are our guest, we'll let you do your final thought first.
So one of the things that I really enjoy about working with couples is I work with people who are dating. I work with people who are pre-engagement. I work with people who are premarital, and I work with people throughout their marriage. And one of the things I want people to really, really take away from this conversation is preparing for marriage does not happen 6 months before your wedding. Preparing for marriage can start as young as when you're a child or when you're a young adult. And we don't get told that enough. I see people in my practice all the time, and they may be in an adult body, but they are very much thinking with a child's mind. And marriage is for grown-ups. Marriage is not for little kids. It's for emotionally mature people. And if I could be so frank, sometimes people will say to me, what's the outlook? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're a good fit? I'm honest. I say 75% of the couples I see in my practice should have never even gotten married.
Ooh.
So, you got a long road ahead of you, because most of y'all shouldn't even be here. You're not compatible. You don't share the same values. You don't share the same morals. You're not committed. Your communication sucks. You have poor conflict resolution skills. So we have to prepare ourselves for marriage or healthy relationship. And it does not happen 6 months before we get married. It actually happens before we're in a relationship. We really got to think more about that.
Woo! Oops.
Hey, listen, I know women coming through your practice, they are like, hell no. They're like, hell to the no.
Oops. I just said oops because the mic just got dropped. But anywho, listen, we got to be accountable, and we have to be able to hear the truth. But most women in these internet streets want to hear panderas, if that's what you call them.
Yep.
They want to hear what they want to hear and not what they need to hear to sustain, maintain, and remain in healthy relationships. I need to hear the truth. What do I need to do? What am I doing wrong? What is my miss? What you just said, I'm taking that. I've been preparing for when my husband comes. I need to be able to do all those things from my part and not go looking at him with my hand out. And too many people are leading with their hand out and not their heart. So I'm just like, that just blew us away. Lamar, what is your final thought, my brother?
I don't want to dilute what Anita said. So it was so powerful. My thing is communication, prioritize sex. Couples have to prioritize intimacy. You just have to. You got that. If you want a good man, I said Trey, when we first started, it's like, surprise him. Keep him guessing. It's not hard, but there's two people in this type of world. So there's people that love sex and there's people that don't. And the people that don't mean that they don't have sex. They just don't put any effort towards it. And if you've ever been with anyone like that, man, it's a horrible thing. So it's like, communicate, know what you need, and sex is your time. It's how you connect. So if you don't want to connect with me, I'm going to connect with somebody else. So
that's it. That's it. I just listen. Sex is part of a relationship, and we have to be really, really real with ourselves to understand that men need sex. And if you are not, this is really my final thought to women who are in marriages right now, sexless marriages. If you no longer want to have sex with that man, that is fine. but you need to be honest and let him make a conscious decision if he wants to stay in a sexless marriage. If you no longer, not it's going to be scarce, so we're going to do it, let's put it on the schedule for 4 times a month, or maybe if you never ever want to have sex again, because there's some women out here that don't, be honest with that man and release that man to the woman that wants to have sex with him, and let him go and be happy, because I believe that every person on this planet deserves to be happy. So thank you everybody for tuning in. This was a rich conversation, and I hope that you got something from it. If you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love. We're here every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please check our girl Anita out. I'm going to let her information go out there across the bottom of the screen. It is at Better Love Movement. I'm going to give her an opportunity right now to tell her where to follow and like her.
Yes, so Better Love Movement everywhere. That is my handle on every platform, is Better Love Movement. My website is betterlovemovement.com.
Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you guys next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Peace and blessings. We love y'all.